Hello everyone and welcome to this webinar with me, DanP. This is an onboarding webinar for Bookmap to get you up and running, get you installed and open your first instrument on our platform. We run these sessions 3 times a week. You've got obviously me running this session right now, which is at 8 AM EST. We've then got a session with Brandon Trades at 4 PM EST on Wednesdays, and then we've got Bruce at 1 PM EST on Fridays. We're just trying to cover all the major time zones here for you all. So obviously if there is a session that's more convenient for your time zone, don't feel that you need to stick around for this one. You can always head to one of Brandon's or one of Bruce's if it is more convenient for your work schedule. And yeah, to register for those, just head to the Learning Centre. You'll be able to register for the events just there. Next, I've obviously got to let you know that we are currently having a sale. So it's Black Friday at the moment, and all the way through until December 31st, you are now able to get 50% off Global Plus Quarterly and 50% off data for 3 months, which is a great deal. We run a Black Friday deal every single year, and it is usually our most popular sale, so I would highly recommend checking out the Bookmap deals page. You can just scan that QR code down in the bottom right, or head to bookmap.com/deals to find out more. We also have a Cyber Monday deal, which is 60% off of Global Plus monthly and data for 1 month, and all the way through until December 31st, 50% off of all add-ons from the Bookmap marketplace. Again, head to bookmap.com/deals to get these deals. And for all of this week, we have got our Pro Trader webinar series. So Friday we just had Carmine Rosato come. He presented for about an hour and a half. It was fantastic having him over. Today we've got Robert Rother and Frank Marrero of Spanglish Trades at 10 AM and 1 PM EST. Tomorrow we've got Austin Silver from Austin Silver FX. Wednesday we've got Options Millionaire. Thursday it's Massey, and Friday it's AB Legend, who is our previous Blue Jacket winner and something of a legend on YouTube. So highly recommend you check out that Pro Trader webinar series. If you'd like to find out the full schedule and register for events, head to our Discord, go to the upcoming events tab, select the event that you're interested in and mark interested. You'll then get a ping within Discord telling you to come and join the special events channel. You will need to verify to access other sessions within this server, which you can do by clicking on the verification button at the top here, pressing getting started and going through the process. You will need a Bookmap subscribed email, even a free subscription. And if you experience any issues with verification, please do feel free to send me a message just by clicking my name and then heading to message, or clicking on my profile and going that way. If you've got any questions during the session, please do feel free to use the Discord chat, YouTube chat, and of course the Zoom Q&A. I will try and check all of these as often as I can, but if something gets missed, please do just give me a moment. I will go through them all at the end. Right, now that we've done the housekeeping, let's get into it. So our first step in joining Bookmap and getting it downloaded is to log into bookmap.com and view our details. We can do that by going to bookmap.com and heading to the login button in the top right and creating an account there. Once you've created your account, you're going to be able to log into the Bookmap portal, which is where you can obtain your Bookmap license key, as well as download the system version that you require. You can see in the top right up here that we have got Bookmap Bruce, which is Bruce's account, logged in here. And then obviously we've got the system version, sorry, we've got your ability to select the system and select a version when you are downloading. So let's select which version we're going to download. As I'm a Windows user, I'm going to be selecting Windows from the select system. Obviously if you're a Mac Intel, Mac M1, M2 or a Linux user, please do use those other system downloads. And then for version, we're going to select Production. We normally have 3 different versions available: Production, Beta and Alpha. Beta would give you access to slightly new, just before release add-ons, and new processes before they're available on the production level, but maybe slightly unstable. Alpha obviously is those same beta features but even less tested, and so for today we are going to stick with the production version, just as we're all assuming you're first time users. You're going to want to see what Bookmap looks like without any kind of bugs and getting into it normally. And so once you've selected the system and version that you want, press download and you'll get the Bookmap installation wizard downloaded into your downloads folder. While that's downloading, let's add a data subscription. So to head to the data subscription, go to the Bookmap portal, and on your left here you'll see user dashboard and then add subscription. So click on add subscription and you'll then be greeted with this window. If you are not logged in, or if you only have a digital, not digital plus subscription, you will view the core subscriptions window, where you can purchase Digital Plus, Global, or Global Plus. Again, you could always grab the deals from earlier that are on bookmap.com/deals at the moment. But if you would like to purchase it through the main portal, you can do so this way. However, once you're logged in, you will be able to purchase a data subscription. Data subscriptions are sold separately to your Bookmap subscription, and you need data to trade any different exchanges other than crypto. So if you are a index trader or you trade currency futures, you may only need the CME Bookmap data, which costs $17 for the first month and then $34 for each month thereafter. If you trade interest rate products like the YM, then you'd be looking at CBOT, which again, $17 for the first month and then $34 for each month thereafter. If you trade energy products such as oil, you'd be looking at NYMEX. And then for precious metals such as gold or silver futures, it would be COMEX. If you trade several of these markets at once, you may find it better to buy the CME bundle, which contains CME, CBOT, NYMEX and COMEX all together for $79 each month. Obviously, if you're trading 3 of these markets, that is the most cost efficient way of purchasing your data for Bookmap. We also have DXFeed and Bookmap Equities data, which give you the ability to trade stocks. So you've got NASDAQ Total View and NASDAQ Last Sale, full market depth and traded volume for $29 for the first month and then $59 for each month thereafter through Bookmap Equities data. Or you can take DXFeed stocks data, which gives you NASDAQ and EDGX, $59 for the first month, then $119 for each month thereafter, or $69 and $59 for each month respectively. Now that we've purchased our data and downloaded Bookmap, let's install and run Bookmap. Locate the installation wizard from your downloads folder, double click it, and then start going through the installation process. As I'm sure you've all used an installation wizard before, we won't go through this now, and I have got Bookmap downloaded, so I'll just begin to open it now, and then we'll start to connect to a symbol. I'll just quickly give a quick check on questions, see if anyone's said anything. So nothing on Zoom, nothing on Discord, and nothing on YouTube. We're just going to double check that it looks okay there. Wonderful. Okay, so when you first open Bookmap, we're just going to press OK on this, which is about plugins. Sorry for that. As you can see, Bookmap is just loading in here, and we are now given the Run Options window. So there are 3 different modes in which you can open Bookmap. You've got Simulation, which allows you to use the Bookmap simulator, or trades will not be routed to your broker. This can be used for forward testing, and would allow you to try out new strategies without impacting your account. Trading mode is where you can connect to your broker, be that a paper account or a funded account, and route your trades directly to your broker through the Bookmap platform. And then finally we have replay mode, which allows you to record live data throughout the week or run data that others have sent you and be able to backtest your strategies with replay mode, relook at the day's action, or perhaps hone that strategy edge that you've been looking for. We also have these 3 tick boxes, which is load previously opened workspace. Obviously I'm not going to do that as this is our first time opening up Bookmap, but if you do want to retain your settings, simply close and save and exit, and then tick load previously opened workspace when you reopen your machine the next day. I am going to tick record live data and record orders, as I would like to be able to replay this data later in the week. So we're going for trading mode, record live data and record orders, and then we're going to press OK. And as we can see, Bookmap's just getting ready to start here. I'm not going to update to the latest beta version, even though I normally do, as we are keeping this within production. And I'm going to close out this connectivity configuration window, as sometimes it does not appear. It usually does, but sometimes it doesn't. However, we have the instructions just on the platform right here. So currently we can see we're not connected to any platform, and to run a new instrument we need to follow the steps below, which is configure market data, enable the connection, and then press the plus icon to open an instrument. So let's head up to connections and configure to configure our first connection. To get Bookmap data, we will need to go to add or remove platforms, scroll through the installed platforms here to the bottom where it says available for install, and take Bookmap data and press install, which is now downloading the plugin for us to be able to use and connect to in the live market. Once we've added that platform, we then need to add the connection. So press Add Connection, go to Platform drop-down, and select Bookmap Data from the drop-down here. I'm going to keep the name as Bookmap Data, just so that I'm aware of which connection I'm connecting to. For server location, I'm going to use Auto. However, if you use a VPN, you may need to manually set this to the closest server to your location. I'm within Europe, so it is going to default to Europe for me. However, we also have a server in the US and a server in Japan that you're able to connect to. And then for price format, I'm going to leave that as default. I'm now going to add another connection for a crypto exchange. We do have multi-book within Bookmap Data, but if I would like to just, for example, look at the Binance platform, I would select Binance here, leave the connection name as Binance. I'm not going to enable trading connected to my broker, and I'm not going to connect to a test or a demo market, and I'm going to use the custom PML, and we're going to use basically the default settings on this one. Lastly, I want to add a DX feed connection. DX feed is automatically included as a platform that we connect to, and so you just need to press Add Connection, select DX feed from the drop down. Oh, that's YDX. Select DX feed from the drop down, leave it as DX feed. At the moment, I don't have DXFeed data as I do not trade stocks, and so I'm not able to obtain real live data for DXFeed, but the connection process is the same for a live instrument. Once we've connected to Bookmap Data and DXFeed up in the connectivity configuration window and added those connections, we're going to press OK, head to the Connections tab again, and select all of the connections that we have just created to allow them to start proliferating. Okay, as we can see, we are just connecting to those instruments now, and now no instrument is selected. We need to click the plus icon at the top left to subscribe to an instrument up here. For our first instrument, I'm going to connect to the ES, so I'm going to go to Bookmap Data. For the type, it's going to be Futures. The exchange will be CME. And for the symbol, it's ESZ5 for the December contract of the ES Futures. I'm only going to add in 3 hours of historical data as we are currently in pre-market. There's not a huge amount going on, so it shouldn't take me very long to load in. I'm going to go for a tick size of 0.25 and then a size granularity of 1, then I press subscribe. As you can see, the instrument is just loading in. It may take me slightly longer than on your system, as I am currently streaming this out to 3 locations, but we can see that it is just loading in now, and that the ESZ5 contract is trading at 6814 for the moment. Apologies. And then we've just loaded in this historical data here, able to see where liquidity has been in the market and where it is soon to transact, potentially. And that's it, we've got the ES loaded up here. Now let's say we want to open a crypto instrument. We're going to go to the plus icon in the top left again. We can either go through Binance or Bookmap Data. I'm going to stick with Bookmap Data for the moment, just so I can show you our multi-book. For the type, it's perp for perpetual futures. The exchange is multi-book. And then let's say we want to open ETH USDT. We just type in the symbol name of ETH USDT, and we are able to obtain the Binance Futures, Bybit and OKEX symbol from Bookmap here. We're not going to add in very much historical data, as this is a rapidly trading instrument with a 24-hour market, so I'm going to go for 2 hours of local and 2 hours of cloud. It's going to be a tick size of 1 and a size granularity of 0.1, and then we press subscribe. And as we can see, it is loading in that historical data even while I'm on this current instrument. And now we're loading in the Ethereum futures from Bybit, Binance and OKEX exchanges all at once. If we'd like to load in more historical data at once, we can click in this little arrow icon here. And as you can see, you can add up to 7 days of local and 82 hours of cloud data for this instrument here. It appears not to have loaded in my past hours data, so I'm actually going to do that for you now. And we're going to go for 3 hours of local data and 3 hours of cloud. So interestingly, I don't seem to be able to get this data at the moment. I believe that's due to that historical data pop-up that you just saw in the top right, bottom right of my screen. So for the moment, I'm going to now switch to a DX feed instrument and try and load a common stock. So let's head to the plus icon just at the top left again. For the platform, it's going to be DX feed. The type is auto, as is the exchange, as we set those connections up previously. And then for the symbol, I'm going to use NVDA, which is NVIDIA Common Stock. I'm not going to add in any historical data, as we are looking at delayed data anyway. And then let's press subscribe. As we can see, market data for NVIDIA is currently delayed by 70 hours for me, as I am not a DX feed user. If you have a DX feed subscription, that will be real-time, live data, and can be viewed with the Global Plus and Global packages. Again, if you'd like to load in more historical data, you can press the arrow icon just there. And that's it. We have now connected to a crypto instrument, an index, and a common stock, all through the Bookmap platform, and we're able to trade them, should we so wish, by opening the trade control panel with this padlock icon here and heading through there. We have videos on how to use the TCP, all on the Learning Center, which I'm about to show you now. To access the Learning Center, you can either go to bookmap.com and then head to the Education tab, or you can click Help on the platform and head to the Learning Center. Not seeing any questions on Discord. We've got a question from Ismail Subaya on YouTube. Hi, what are the PC requirements to download and run Bookmap? You can obtain the requirements from the Bookmap site. They are changing quite frequently as we make improvements. To find that, simply head to the knowledge base from the Learning Center, and you can look at Bookmap system requirements just at the top here and scroll down as you so wish. I won't read through these at the moment, but if you'd like to look at that, I will drop that into YouTube for you just now. And do we have any questions on Zoom? We do. I am not getting this pop-up. Does BM support Mac M4? I asked for the website, only mentioned M1, M2. I'm afraid I don't know that. I believe we only support M1 and M2. But please do feel free to reach out to support or mention that in our suggestions portal. In terms of I'm not getting this pop-up, I'm sorry Hitesh, I'm not quite sure what you mean there. If you could maybe ask that question again, I'll try and get through it for you. Pure Peak Ruth. Hey, I have a problem. Please mention your problem within this channel. That's what this session is for. It's a support and onboarding session. GC is not working. Can you connect with the data? I have global and rhythmic account. So for GC, you would need COMEX data. As we were showing on the data subscriptions portal, and it would be GC futures, so you'd be looking at the futures instrument. I'd recommend joining the Bookmap Discord and asking within the help and support channel for a bit more information on that one. And no, unfortunately, I'm not going to connect to gold for the moment, as we are currently through the session. So on the Learning Center, you can go through and find a bunch of courses that we've created for you on how to use Bookmap, how to read order flow, how to connect to data, and how to understand order flow through market mechanics and order flow phenomena. We also have educator-led courses on strategies and setups such as Bruce's supply and demand setups, Robert Rother's AV mastery, and options with zero DT strategies with Brandon Trades. We also, of course, have futures and stocks with JTrader if you are a stocks trader. Further down the list on the Learning Center, we can find the event calendar, which shows you all of the live events that we run throughout the week. We're actually, as I mentioned, running Pro Trader webinars all this week, and so we've got a very packed schedule. Immediately after this session, in about 30 minutes, we've got Charles Go of Pirate Trades, who will be giving you your futures with the Pirate Brigade, usually with some form of lyrical song, which is always great to hear, Charles. We've then got Robert Rother's Pro Trader webinar for VWAP Decoded, why institutions use this one benchmark and how you can trade like them. Then at 4:30 GMT, which is going to be 11:30 EST, we've got Tom. At 6 PM, we have a special event with Spanglish Trades. He's going to be giving this webinar in both English and in Spanish on using Bookmap heat map levels to manage risk and reward and manage risk and maximize reward. We've then got trading options like a pro with Doug Pless at just half an hour later. Our session with Everton in the Brazilian markets about a half hour after Doug finishes, and then to close out the day at market close, we have cryptocurrencies with Dharma Capital Trading with Spencer. So as you can see, we've got an absolutely packed day full of sessions today. If you'd like to register for any of these sessions, please do join the Bookmap Discord or head here and you'll be able to get a link to that. As mentioned, we have got the knowledge base if you prefer a vertical guide for your learning. And then finally, we also have the symbols table here if you'd like to look up how to find the symbol for an instrument you are looking to access, as well as the exchange. So now let me get to some of your questions. I want to test on simulation mode so that I can try executing trades. Okay, Hitesh, so when you open up that first platform, you're given the run options window, select simulation mode, and then press run. In terms of do we have offline sessions in Dubai, I'm really not quite sure what you mean by an offline session in Dubai. We don't run any sessions in Dubai, I'm afraid. If you require guidance in Arabic, we did used to run sessions with Zayad. You can search the Bookmap Arabic channel for that, and you'll be able to find sessions on reading order flow and using Bookmap within Arabic. They are slightly outdated, unfortunately, as we haven't had Zayad stream for a little while now, but they might be of some use to you. And we have no further questions within within YouTube, and then nothing on the Discord at the moment. So just while I'm here, I would like to point out that you should join the Bookmap Discord for the best experience for these sessions. I'm currently running this within the special events room, which is not verification gated. It's one of the few rooms that we do not leave verification gated, just so that you can get into these onboarding sessions a bit easier. But to verify, head to the top left, go to verification, press get started, and you'll be able to go through our process all the way through to the end until you click I have read the disclaimer. That will direct you to a Bookmap website, and you will then be verified. You will gain a role, and you will open up the rest of the Discord and see a lot more channels, a lot more content, and a lot more education. I'm just going to go back through and check that we've got no more questions. I've answered both of those. Okay. Just going to give another 20-30 seconds for questions to come in. If you've got them, please do ask them now, as I will need to end this session shortly, I'm afraid. Okay, so we have no more questions on YouTube, Zoom or Discord, so I'm going to end this session now. Thank you everyone for coming. As mentioned, please do join us for Pirate Trades in 30 minutes. That will be in Charles's special in his own room here. Ooh. Futures with Charles on the Bookmap Discord. You can join the voice room here and then use the Futures with Charles chat tab to chat throughout the week, discuss the session, or request more songs from Charles. Oh, we've got some questions in on Zoom. Do we have French assistance? So you are able to obtain support from support@bookmap.com email in French. We also have Corentin, who streams with us on Tuesdays and teaches order flow completely in French. You would be able to join his room by scrolling down, finding our Francais webinar sections, and then joining Corentin Futures. And for conversation in French, it would be étage de commencer. I've probably butchered that, as I am an English speaker, unfortunately. I hope that answers your question, Pierre. And Hitesh, no worries at all. Please do feel free to come to another onboarding session if you feel like you need any further assistance getting ready and set up with Bookmap. And still nothing on YouTube or Discord, so I am going to call this session there. Thank you everyone for coming. Have a great day, and good luck in the markets. See you soon.